a week. And school holidays, so perhaps some of you are away or have children at home. We're going to start with simple neck rolls and shoulder rolls and then the cat, and then we have some more of those Tibetan exercises which always have to do with the vayus. In the Sanskrit, vayus means the airs. We apparently have 5 different air circulations. Some go with the speech, some go to the brain, some go to eliminate, and so on. So that's what they're good for. And they loosen you up as well. So you have to start with simple finding your upright position. Once you've got it, just take a few breaths that you connect with the energy in your body. Maybe close your eyes for the first few breaths. Get you centered, if possible, your hips above your knee. And then once you feel that you're centered, drop your chin and then slowly roll your ear to the right, shoulder your head back, tummy slightly in, and do some neck rolls, loose ones. Perhaps making them larger. Twice more in this direction. And then the other way around. Feeling and facilitating that sort of more flexibility of your neck. It can be quite stiff. Twice more. And then simply center. You want to just loosen the shoulders a little bit as well. Bring your elbows together up and as far back as you can. One more time, growing the circles if you can. And then the other way around. Another twice. And then do a strong inverted sitting stretch. Pressing your sitting bones down, tummy slightly in, armpits down, straighten the elbows. You want to lengthen, you don't want to lock. Grow another inch. To these. I'm going to warm up the spine with a cat, breath and movement. So once you've got your center, as you breathe in, see if you can take your tailbone back. I press my palms slightly towards me, head up, chin up, chest forward and down. And as you breathe out, see if you can do the opposite. Arching your back, tailbone in, chin in, and reach into your hands, slightly pushing them forward, as if you're pressing forward. Slightly towards you as you lengthen the spine. Feel that each vertebra has its own space, without hanging in your shoulders. You can literally feel the spine elongating, and then the other way around. Bring your belly in. Chin close to your throat, perhaps look towards your feet. Nice deep breath. Allow that lower spine, lower back to lengthen as well. Facilitating its sort of flexibility basically. And not leaving out any disc or vertebra. Now if you can, if your wrists can take it, because it gives your wrists and your forearm a bit of an extra stretch, do it a few more times with your fingers spread, hollowing. I wouldn't push forward and backwards, I would just keep them as they are now. the hands and the wrists. And do that twice more, facilitating mobility but engaging the whole spine as a unit, like a string of pearls. Drawing the energy through the spinal column. And then we're going to sit in what they call the tailor position. One leg in front of the other. That's called the tailor position because tailors used to sit and sew like that in India. I don't know if they did it in Europe as well. Okay, we're going to do a bit of a warming up of the hips, side stretch. So first of all, take your fingertips to the floor, ground your sitting bones, keep your shoulders down, reach into your fingers, breathe into the belly, drop your shoulders. So you're really centered. Feeling that again, your spine is elongated. Keep your left hand onto your left knee as you bring your right forearm to the floor. As you breathe in, simply turn your head and your neck, look up. And as you breathe out, look down. Do that a few times, rotating the neck and slightly your trunk. Pushing your left knee to the floor. You can feel how my neck is a bit stiff. And then bring your left arm up. Again, so you can look down as you breathe out. Look up as you breathe in, your armpits down. And do that a few more times. And then you're going to cradle your head, just bringing your left hand underneath it. And then that makes it much stronger. I take my fingertips to my opposite ear. Breathing in, bring the elbow back. Try and bring your left knee down. Breathing out. Take your head towards the floor, your knee. Breathing in, open out. Breathing out, looking down. Keeping the back broad. Really rotating the whole upper trunk. Quite strong. And then come up and do the same. Well, not the same. We're going to just do a counter stretch and then bring the other leg in front. So see, we can slowly move to the left. If you can, go further, bring your palm up. Keep your right knee, and if you can, your sitting bone grounded. Extend into your fingers, but keep your armpits down, your shoulders back, so you don't hunch. You extend, but you engage the side muscles of these muscles, your shoulder blades, as a counter stretch. Okay, now you have to do the tailor position the other way around. So first of all, bring your fingertips to the floor, extend, shoulder blades down, so you can feel the tip of your shoulder blades going into your ribs. Okay, we're going to put your right hand onto your right knee and bring your left forearm on the floor. As you breathe in, look up. As you breathe out, look down a few times, rotating your neck. Mainly the neck, that you feel it. And do it with your arm up, looking at your fingertips, and then down. And then you can take your hands to the opposite ear, breathing in, look up, breathing out, coming forward and down, which makes it much stronger. Keep that right knee moving towards the floor at the same time. Last one. And we're going to the opposite side. So see if you can slide your elbow to the floor. Keep your left knee down. Bring your arm across, and if you can, Bring your palm facing up, left knee down, look up slightly and extend. It's quite a strong one. Okay, so it's the side of your body and your hips, and then shake your legs and release. Now we're going to do some of those Tibetan ones. Like I say, it works with the vayu, so the 5 different airs in the body. So as you breathe in, come up, hold the breath. And come down only, so hold the breath. Extend. Just breathe normally and come as you forward to the floor. Well, I know a lot of you can't do that, but that's what they suggest you do, so do what you can. You can also do stronger breathing. I'm going to do another sequence. So that shifts. You can definitely feel that the air is in you anyway. So now there's another one which is slightly more complicated. Also Tibetan. So it's coming from the one into a sitting position that might be slightly tricky, really. So as you breathe in, you come up. As you breathe out, you need your feet in front of you and your fists behind you. Keep your feet together, bring your chin to your throat. As you come onto your toes into a Tibetan table, shoulders back, chin to your throat. Pause for 2 more counts. Then as you breathe out, bring your chin to your knees. As you breathe in, come up. And as you breathe out, release into a forward bend. And bend your knees if you need to. Breathing in, come up. Breathing out, your fist behind you. Come onto your toes, chin close to your throat, lift, pause, tummy in, tighten a bit. And then come with your chin onto your knees, round your back. Breathe you in, come up. And breathing out into a forward bend. Come up onto your knees, raise your arms. With your fist behind you, come up. Chin close to your throat, your head doesn't go back, tummy in. And then come forward and release your back. Breathing in, come up. Breathing out into a forward bend. Onto your knees, arms to the ceiling. Feet in front of you, together, your fist behind you. Lift, chin to your throat, tighten, pause. Come forward and release totally. Do it one more time. So onto your knees, arms to the ceiling. With your fist behind you, feet together, ready for the Tibetan table. With your chin down, we usually take our head back. Pause, tummy in. Release, round your back, drop your head. And then stay in a forward bend. If you need to bend your knees for a bit longer and relax totally. Three more breaths. So that's where the Tibetan ones. You've got one standing still. What I like about it, you've got to really think. You've got to be there. Now this is waking up your hamstring. And we've done this before. You bend your knee a little bit and you press your heel just a little into the floor. You take your hand here so that as you straighten up, you press your heel a little, don't do too much. So that you only engage the hamstring. If you press very hard, then a whole lot of other things kick in. So you just want to engage the hamstring. So take your hand there, feel it as you press your heel slightly down. And stay there for a few more counts so you feel the hamstring, just the hamstring engaging. Now you keep that engaging. If you can, take your ankles, or I would take my foot, and even if you can't straighten it, or if you have a strap, use that, but try not to. Keep that hamstring, that's the outer part of your leg, and your chest up. Focus on the hamstring as you release the left leg, reach into your heel, bring your chest up, and begin to straighten it. So it's a gentle engaging it more over time. Chest up, left leg released. Shoulders back and reach into your heel. See if you can begin to straighten the back of your leg. But if you need to do it like that, that's how it is. Five more breaths. Okay, so that's the one side. So there's your hands. Straighten up. Press a bit into your heel. You're not overdoing it. So you begin to feel how the back of your thigh, calf, chest up. Don't have to tighten the buttock. Breathe. Feel that hamstring engage it, not too much. And again, keep that slight engaging as you begin to bring it up and straighten it. Reach into your heel, chest up, release the right leg. And if you can, use your elbows so that you can bend them and bring the leg a bit higher. Without locking your hips. If your hip locks, stop always. You shouldn't do it if you try and engage and isolate the hamstring a bit. 5 more breaths. Make sure you don't hunch, shoulders are back. Good. For a moment, just shake your legs. I'm going to do a twist. Twist that we've done before. It's quite a nice one. So first of all, see if you can just bring your arms a little bit wide, lift and drop your shoulders, keep your knees bent, and allow your lower back to settle and your shoulder blades to connect. And then don't do what I'm doing now. Chest up, see if you can keep a more neutral back. Your chest is not up or you're not tightly flattening your waist, sort of in between. If you need something underneath your head, it's there, your shoulder blades are down. Now you're going to lower your right leg without moving your head at all. See how far it wants to go. Some of you might be here, but if you can bring it to the floor, even if your foot is a bit lower, it's almost better. And again, take a breath or two so that you can really release that right leg and hip. Now you're going to lift that left foot and bring it above your right thigh. And then see if you can take your hand to it. Keep your head slightly moving to the left, but certainly not to the right. Now you're going to press onto your left knees. The soles of your foot come off the floor. If you can, bring your elbow to the floor and really press quite firmly, and then begin to breathe into your abdominals, releasing the left arm and shoulder. Now the solar plexus, which is where your navel is, can sometimes be contracted. It's where the most energy is. Solar plexus is kind of a second brain, but there's actually more energy often than in the brain. So I want you to breathe into that and allow it to open so that the energy radiates up, sideways and down. So it's not locked into the solar plexus, it's opening that area up. As you release your right leg, your shoulders, your head, if you can have the elbow on the floor, and you allow that radiation to happen, so you connect the solar plexus as you breathe into just the whole of your body. So although you're in a twist, your breath is helping you to move the energy throughout the body. Release your shoulders. Feel that solar plexus breathing in and out. No tightness. And if that's enough, stop there. If you can take your right hand underneath your calf with your heel and press that leg up. So now the sciatica, which moves through your piriformis, which you're engaging, or next to it, is also engaged further. Keep that breath free in the solar plexus. Try not to lock it. It's open. Another full breath. And just to counter stretch, you bend your left knee, and so you can just bring your right over your left, and interlace your hands around the top knee, and pull both your legs, particularly your left leg, and your shoulders are back, against your ribs, or towards your ribs, just for a few breaths. Okay, so now we're going to come back to center, release your back, and slowly lower your left knee towards the floor, the sole of your foot comes off the floor, without moving your head to the left. Keep your shoulders down, just to release that left hip and side. Keeping the solar plexus open as you breathe into it. So it begins to radiate already. And then bring your right foot above your left thigh or knee, and bring your right hand, it's the left hand, towards your right knee, and roll your head slightly to the right, release your right arm, and begin to press, if you can, the left elbow on the floor. If not, then it's floating, the right leg towards the floor. And again, once you're in it, relax into it, keep it down, and breathe into the solar plexus, which could very easily contract, and keep it open. So you draw the energy from the solar plexus and you release it, you open that area into the whole of your body. Feeling that you engage in the piriformis, where the sciatica is as well, next to it or through it, at the same time. So create whole body awareness, breathing into the solar plexus or belly. So you can let go of your shoulders. Stay with that breath. It's a powerful breath in this one. If you're quite capable of straightening the right leg, do so. If not, keep it slightly bent. Press into the calf or the heel. Keep your shoulders released. And if you can straighten the leg and bring it higher, do so, but don't force it. Soften that solar plexus, another 2 breaths. Now we're going to do that counter stretch with your right knee bent and your leg against you. Interlace your hands around the left knee, and so you can pull it a bit closer, keeping your shoulders down as a counter stretch. For a moment, come into a lying down butterfly, so you can really release the sacrum. Two more breaths. Now to drop. And feel how you have opened this whole area. And just circle a few times your knees. Try and bring your knees right to your ribs. One direction and the other direction. And if you can balance on your spine, I know not everybody can, you could do it like this. If you can, straighten your legs, keep your head centered. I'm going to do the Swami bum lift, so you haven't done for a while. So bring your arms above your head. Flex your feet. I keep my knees slightly bent, it makes it slightly easier. The side muscles are active and pulled down. As you breathe in, tighten now the abdominals, the buttocks particularly. As you breathe in, and doesn't have to come off the floor. Even if you just lift and then release totally as you breathe out. Keep those armpit muscles down. Breathing in, press and lift. And tighten the buttock area, tummy, and then release. You do just a breath. Tightening and lifting on the inhalation. Three more times. And then for a moment just hug your knees and relax totally. We're going to do a counter stretch where you try and make a right angle with your legs. You imagine your heels on a chair, but they're not, so that will not really engage your back. And sort of find a neutral back again, so you're not too hollow or not too arched. And you place your palms onto your forehead, keeping your shoulder blades down. You could also cross your feet. Some people prefer that and bring the inner knees together. As you breathe in, you're down, shoulder blades down, tummy in. As you breathe out, you roll up. Now, if your neck hurts at the back, you need to come up faster. Most of us will probably feel it in the front, but front of the neck. Sacrum down, tummy in, firmly contracted as you come up. Elbows parallel. You can cross your feet the other way around. So your neck, and it's the front of your neck probably, and the abdominals twice more. And then do a nice strong inverted stretch. You may want to just roll your head once you've flopped your shoulders and your back and your feet and your knees are soft. Allow your head to roll loosely. And then bring your right knee towards your chest. Hold it where it's comfortable. So you let go of that lower back consciously. Take a few breaths in that position. Allow to drop. There's a lot of holding, so see if you can do that for a few more breaths. Giving it more space and releasing it, and then the other side. Okay, and then we're going to come and do some back bend. So you need to actually come onto your tummy for the locust. So you come onto your chin, or if you need to firm on your forehead because your nose is in the way. Or either flat or loose fist in your groin, round your shoulders. As you breathe in, slightly rotating that right foot in, so you can reach into your foot, relax the shoulders, and stay there for an extra breath. The second time you breathe out, you slowly come down. Try and really lift. Other way around. And then if you can do both together, do both together. And if you can't, keep doing one leg at a time, and if you can, hold it for that extra breath. Consciously releasing your tummy, bring it in, releasing your shoulders rather, tummy in. Keep going. Tightening the buttocks only when you lift both together. Keep your shoulders released. One more cycle. And come back into a frog, so you can widen and release your lower back. Your big toes together. Your sitting bones are probably beyond your heels. And allow your spine to drop, your chest to drop. Elbows are soft. Use your exhalation to ease into that, so your spine gets a bit of a hollowing and lengthening effect. You widen your lower back and you lengthen it. And then we're going to do the primary pigeon. We'll do it from a dog with your head down. We're going to do it dynamically and then extend into it. So come into the dog with your head down. Perhaps armpits and hips toward each other, heels down, head closer to the floor, and look towards your thigh and rotate the upper arms out. So you begin to get to those calves. Lengthen your back, shoulder blades to your waist. Press those tips of your shoulder blades into your back. Just hold it for a few more breaths. Okay, we're going to bring the right knee against the right wrist and slide your left leg down. Bring it slightly in, and I take my hands quite wide, so that your left hip is connected to your right heel. You probably know it quite well. So it's like already you're opening your chest and you're slightly hollowing your back. You should breathe out. Take your forehead to the floor. Breathing in, look up. Keep that left hip connected with your right heel. And forward and down. Quite a lot of pressure on your arms always. Twice more. So beginning to get to the piriformis on the right again. It's good for people with sciatica. And then see if you can come here. Now, if this is enough, stop. Some people need to do it like this. But if you can extend, you get quite a lot more of a stretch also in that upper trunk. Stay with the breath. But we need to come back into a darker shape. Down, curl your toes. And re-establish it. So you can bring your chest and your knees toward each other, rotate the upper arms out, press into your inner hand. And look toward your thigh. Engage in the back of your legs by pressing your sides back, your heels down, shoulder blades to your waist. I'm going to bring the left knee against the left wrist, coax that leg to come up, bring the right one back, your hands wide. See how flat you can be. And as you breathe in, tummy in, release the right leg. As you breathe out, come forward and down, bend your elbows backwards. Keep that right hip connected with your left heel if possible, so that your groin is as flat as possible on the floor. Now you feel it in the left side, hopefully. And then extend. If this is enough, stop. If you can bring your head down, stay centered and relax into it. Back into a darker shape down. You can bring your right leg up, your head closer to the floor, left heel down. Getting to that left calf particularly, maybe higher with your leg, straighter with your arms. Look towards your knee or your thigh. Now the full breath. Re-establish your acute angle. Once you've got it, your heel down, rotate the upper arms out, side muscle to your waist. Rotate the left thigh slightly in. See if you can do the same, pressing your thigh back, your heel down, and lift that left leg and straighten your arms and legs to your back. Chin close to your throat. Pressing your right heel down. Three more breaths. And then walk into a forward bend of your choice. Come up as a rounded back into an inverted stretch. Okay. We're going to do a yantra. Coming up with your arms, hold the breath, swing 3 times back, 3 times forward, so the other way around, and take it back, go down, and then say, ha. Breathe in, pause, hold the breath 3 times in one direction,
3 times in the other direction, and then go back and again, always hold the breath when you do the circles. It really loosens your ligaments of your shoulders and your arms. 3 times in each direction. Breathe out. Another time. Now you're going to just come up and then as you breathe out. And you can stay in that forward bend and release. I'm going to do the whole thing again. So circles when you hold the breath. 3 times one direction, 3 times the other. Keep it loose. Go back as you breathe. No, you still hold the breath and then come forward. Repeat. Keep it loose, elbows soft. Release the breath. Hold as you come up. Circle 3 times in both directions. Go back. Swing and release your arms and your shoulders. And go into the forward bend as you breathe out with a ha. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And this time you do the 3 circles again, both directions. Once again, circles in both directions, 3 times. Go back. And then as you come down, you breathe out, ha. Circle 3 times. Both directions, back. Continue going back and forwards. And I would like you to take one of your firms, books, put it under your toes. I felt my calves were very tight this weekend. Woke up with cramps in them. So maybe you needed to putting your ball of your foot on the firm or on your book and release into a full forward bend. Release your head, shoulders back. Pressing your heels down, pressing into the ball of your foot, so you begin to engage the back of your calves more than you would without a book with a firm. You probably feel quite invigorated after that. Another Tibetan one. And then doing a inverted stretch. This is one of those that also moves the air around, particularly the upper trunk. We're going to now do head to ankle, could call it. And again, it's the right, left one. So your feet quite wide, center. And put your right foot out, left foot slightly in. Interlace your hands behind your back. Draw your shoulder blades down. It's like a back bend. Pause, legs straight. And then bend the right knee. And come either against the lower leg, or if you can, come in front of it, top your head. And lift your arms right out of the shoulders. Hold it for a few breaths. Come back up. Keep your hands interlaced behind your back. Turn your left foot forward, back foot 45 degrees. Hold it back bend. Take your arms away from your lower back, your knees straight, tummy in, chest up. Bend the left knee, and then so you can come with your head and your upper trunk and your shoulders in front of the left lower leg, and lift your arms out of the shoulders. Release your neck, hold. Go on the outer edge of your back foot. Back to center for a moment. Right foot out, left foot 45 degrees. Coming to the back bend, hold, tummy in, take your arms slightly back, chest up, chin up. And then coming to that head to floor, head to ankle. Lifting your arms out of your shoulders, release your chin closer to your throat. Back knee straight. Turn. Keep your knees straight. Chest up, straighten the arms, back bend. Still reaching into your right foot, so you can bend the front knee a lot, release your head and take your arms out of your shoulders. Breathe, outer edge of your back foot. Back to center, take a breath. Between. And repeat it again. Back bend, tummy in, legs straight, arms down and away, and then strong into both your feet, particularly your right one. You should fold if you can with your head towards the floor, your arms out of the shoulders, your armpits are active, they pull down. Other way around. First the back bend, variation, collarbone up, tummy in, and then in front of your lower left leg. Reach into your right foot. Armpits down, lift your arms out of the shoulders. Do it one more sequence. whole body awareness. And this time you can come into, when you've completed it, forward bend. You can take your hands to your ankles, you can fold your arms, you can take your hands through the arch and take your head close or even on the floor. Reaching into your feet, particularly your outer feet, straighten the knees, lift the thighs, if you can, and breathe, head released. And come up, heel toe your feet closer together, and do an inverted stretch. We're going to do the Pilates curtsying, as I call it. You can bring your arms above your head with your elbows bent for the first few. So your thoracic region is lifted. And then a fair-sized step as you come up. And then slowly come down with your left knee towards the floor. It's 2 breaths basically for the whole movement. Centering, feeling particularly the back thigh. And it strengthens your feet. And you keep your center. Coming up on your toes, bending your knee, coming down on the exhale, coming up again on the inhalation on your toes, and then bring the heels down as you breathe out. And you can keep your arms down, the same leg in front. It's a little bit easier, still holding your center. Quite graceful. Don't have to have your knee to the floor, but if you can, bring it just above the floor. Other side, so your left foot forward, stay centered, armpits down, your hips resting on the back of your skull, your elbows bent. Exactly the same, 2 breaths for each journey. May feel quite different. Strengthen your ankles, stretching your back, quad. And then arms down and do it another 3 times. I always feel it's quite different to one side and the other. Quite elegant. And then feet together. We're going to do balance. Just balance on your right leg and bring your left knee towards your chest, interlace your hands, stay upright. And as you breathe out, you try and bring it up to you without losing that alignment, without losing your uprightness. So only make it as high as you can manage. And then see if you can keep it up for a few breaths with your armpit, shoulder blades down, foot relaxed. And take your foot back, both your hands to your foot, tummy in, collarbone up, bring the heel against you, and if you can, come then into full dancer. From that position, carefully bring your right arm up, keep your left hand with your left foot, and you can come into an upright or full dancer. And then when you come back, you're supposed to bring your knee up, and I think I forgot. And that's why, because the builders are now putting everything in front of our doors instead of taking it to the back of the house. So you can see how unsettled I'm beginning with my balancing, that's the reason. So now your right knee up, bring it up, and then straighten. Your arms, bring it down, and bring it up. So you can hold your center. And if you can keep it up for a few breaths, do so. focus on balancing. You take your right leg back with your left hand, burst your hands to the foot and bring the heel against you. Stay upright initially before you try and come into a dancer from there. It doesn't have to be all the way down, it can just be a half dancer, pushing your foot into your hand. And then if you can, bring your knee up as a counter stretch and come back. Like I said, I was a bit unsettled. I think they moved by now, I hope. I'm going to do it again. So the whole thing about this one is keeping your alignment. Shoulders and armpits active, shoulder blades down, if you can remember, pressing them against your ribs. Carefully taking both your hands to the foot. Stay upright to start with before you come into a fuller dancer. Pressing your foot and your hand into each other. Right arm up. And then bring your knee up towards your chest before we do the other side. Dynamically to start with. I seem to have forgotten that bit. And then from the upright position into a fuller dancer. Okay. It's a very simple sequence, but I have to admit I didn't get the breath right often. So you start in the hero position and come into a lunge, to a forward bend. As you breathe in, come back into a back bend, standing back bend, and back into a forward bend. Stepping back with your left leg into a lunge with your knee, with your hands on the floor, and then as you breathe out, back onto your heels. Coming with your left leg forward, and come into the full extension, then back with your hands on the floor, and release into a forward bend. Come into a back bend, palms together, look up. Forward bend as you breathe out. Stepping back with your right leg, so your left foot is in front into the lunge, and sitting back onto your heels. It's quite quick. Right foot forward, knee on the floor, then come up. And then as you breathe out, you're supposed to come into a forward bend. Standing one. Breathing in, come back. Breathing out, you're back into a forward bend. Step back with your left knee on the floor and then onto your heel. Stepping forward with your left leg. Crescent moon as you breathe out into a forward bend. Come into a back bend on the inhalation. Forward bend on the exhalation. Stepping back with your right leg and then onto your heels. If you can't be on your heels, then keep your sitting bones off the floor. Try that in your own way. See if you can get the breath. Back bend inhalation, forward bend exhalation. Back with your left leg and then onto the heels. You do it a few more sequences and then try it with your eyes closed and you feel you've got it. It's quite nice when you can do it with your eyes closed. There's actually only 3 breaths, but sometimes you can't help but doing 4. So after this one, see if you can do it with your eyes closed. If you can do things with your eyes closed, not if you get dizzy. Integrating it with your breathing tempo. Simple is not always the easiest. Becoming more spacious. To the back bends or the crescent moons are always the inhalations. quite calming if you can get into it. It's probably the last time, I imagine. And maybe sit in the hero position and feel the energy flow and how your mind has become calm and your body feels more spacious. You're going to do a batik balance, so make sure you've got the space and also you don't want to fall back against the wall. If you need to bend your knees when you come up and balance on your batiks, do so. If you can straighten them, keep them really wide, chest up, tummy in. I find it helps to look up without falling back. You try and really begin to straighten the back of your legs, shoulder blades down, head up. For some people it's quite strong on the arms. And then come into a wide-legged forward bend and release, like you did earlier in the Tibetan one. Take a few breaths in that position, however far you repeat. So you can take it really wide out, look up, and work on those hamstrings. Begin to really straighten the knees. Chest comes up. It will be different for different people because of different proportions of body and legs and arms. Watch it, you don't fall back. Once again, release into wide-legged forward bend. If you can, bring your elbows to the floor, your head to the floor. Feel that hamstring stretch and opening of your hips. Do it again. Perhaps you can straighten your legs a bit more, chest a bit higher. Talk to your knees. Hold, breathe. A bit higher. Once again, so you can go a bit further into that wide-legged forward bend. Keep your toes pointing up. Press your sitting bones back. You could do the tortoiseshell as a counter stretch. You see me doing it, taking your arms underneath your ankles, your head towards your feet. And release. You're going to do now the cow's head variation. You're going to do the cow's head, so you see if you can maybe have a book or a pillow if you need it. I think I have my right knee on the top. Sit between the two feet, and if you can, and rock a bit. You know, you lift your sitting bones, you rock a bit. Not everybody can, but it just helps you to bring the knee more over the higher knee more over the lower one. And then you can also do a bit of twisting from side to side, still pressing onto your feet. And just get a little bit of a twist going. And then the side stretch, so go to the side when your knees up. Keep the opposite sitting bone grounded. Slide your hand down, bend your elbow a little bit if you need to, and you can really get a huge stretch on that left side. Keep your armpits down. Try not to drop your ear to the shoulder. Extend into the fingers with your slightly spread. In a twist, you can slightly pull onto your knee, or you can bring your hand against your thigh, rotate, and look past your right shoulder. Keep your spine elongated, your shoulders down, and then from there come into forward bend. I'm saying that if you want to get your chest onto your thigh, you could put a pillow or something in between. The moment you can press onto your chest, you get more of a stretch in that piriformis on the right. Just breathe into that. Other way around. And again, see if you can get the one knee on top of the other by pressing your hands on your feet and shifting a bit from back to front with your sitting bones lifted. It might just shift a little bit. It's like the shoelaces on your back, it's the same posture. And then the twist from side to side. We're going to do the side stretch to the left, so your palm beyond your foot, keep the right sling bone grounded, armpits down, take your arm if you can with a straight elbow right across your ear, not in front of your face. And as you breathe out, surrender into that stretch, opening the whole right side of your rib cage into your hip. Twist to the left, weakly upright. Feel the whole spine, elongated and then turned. And release into the forward bend, and like I said, if you need to put something between your chest and your thigh to get an extra stretch in your left side, do so. Pillow will do. Maybe shake your legs after that. We're going to come into a cobra, from the cobra into a bow. So your elbows bend backwards, you can have your feet apart, it's easier on your back. And then see if you can take hold of your feet, your ankles, and come up into a bow. Come into the cobra, keep your elbows bent, you don't have to come as high as I do. And then take hold of your feet, lift the thighs and knees off the floor, tummy in, breathe into your chest. You can do it as each breath, inhalation cobra, exhalation the bow, you can do the breath for each. Always zip up the tummy for the back bends to support your back. Now you can hold it for a few breaths, cobra, a little pressure in your palm. And then see if you can stay for a few breaths into the full bow. Pressing your feet into your hands to the ceiling, tummy in, lift the thighs and knees off the floor. Slightly looking down but not dropping your head too much. And then push back into a frog with your big toes together, your knees quite wide. So you can lengthen the lower back, bring your chest to the floor, your forehead to the floor. Really dropping that middle spine and chest. Good to a tortoiseshell or butterfly. To round your lower back if you need to press the lower spine out from inside. If you can sit between your heels, if your feet sort of parallel, or otherwise come into a hero position, or if you need a book or a pillow, do it that way. We're going to do the eagle arm in that position, which actually makes it a little bit stronger, because now your elbows and your shoulders are slightly up. So you can bring those elbows up, feel it in your back. And you could move your head from side to side, quite strong in your neck, your upper back, your shoulder blades are down, armpits are down, your elbows are up. Then hold it for a few more breaths before we're going to change the arms and bring the other one on top. Still staying in that position, so it takes your mind off the knee and the ankle, I hope. You feel it at the back and your shoulder. Once you've got it high enough, your armpits are down, you can again move your head from side to side. Again, hold it in the center, maybe your elbows another half an inch up, shoulders down, breathe. Whole body awareness. And you could sit in that position for a few more breaths. It should be kicking in by now, I hope. Stretching your knee or your feet a bit. It's always tricky to come out of it, so bring your one leg straight behind you as you rest on the one knee. So get the blood flow going through that knee region where you might have felt it in your foot. Other way around. You need to rub your knees a bit as well. We're going to go into a plough. So often I do it against the wall. I find it easier, but this time I'm demonstrating it without. But I have to support my back. Many of you don't need to. So you can straighten the legs, keep your chin in the collarbone notch and the back of your head centered. So don't bring your head too far down. Keep it centered. Some of you will be able to take your hands to your feet and not roll back. Some of you might want to just put it on the floor, or keep your feet a bit off the floor, or put your feet against the wall. And if you press against the wall, you get quite a stretch again through the buttock, piriformis to the back of your leg. Just take quiet breath in that position. Inversion. So your heart is actually higher than your brain. Carefully roll into a forward bend, which is usually a little bit looser. You can go a bit deeper into it. If you need to bend your knees, bend it slightly. It was a nice calming ending to a class, so stay there for a few breaths. If you can, release your head totally. As your sitting bones back, chest forward, and then release your head. Toes pointing to the ceiling, not sideways. So that's the end of this part of the story.
You're going to go into relaxation, so if it's not such a warm day as it looks today, then put on something like get your blanket next to you. You're going to do the crocodile breath, which you've done before, and it means you come onto your tummy with your forearms to lean on, perhaps your forehead on your forearms, and your feet a bit apart, so the belly is breathing into that resistance of your mat or the floor. At the same time, so your lower back is not compressed in any way, so it can really extend and release, which is quite important with all the tightness that a lot of people have in their lower back because they sit too much, it contracts. So the whole back is actually active, so put your one arm on top of the other, rest your forehead on your top arm, your feet a bit apart, wriggle until you're really comfortable, your shoulders are released. I actually don't rest on my hand but on my forearm itself, it seems to be easier. And make sure your belly is soft. And then simply do the yoga breath into the belly, feel that the ribs connect, that your back frees, and that you create more space in your back, and that it actually moves up and down, the whole of your rib cage, the whole lower back. So start comfortably and don't force the breath. Feel how the belly has that resistance against the floor, your mat. And feel how the whole trunk fills up and then it releases again, quite naturally, without really pausing. Just allow the breath to flow as it wants to. Very slight resistance at the back of your throat. And begin to release downwards. So you drop into gravity as you breathe out. Your lower back is literally floating now. Release your feet, shoulders. Feel how your legs too drop deeper down over time. Make it 5 more breaths. And then come onto your back, and if you want to stay on your tummy, and make yourself comfortable for total relaxation. Just taking a few more breaths, releasing down in that position. You can make sure you release your legs, your joints, connect thumb and index finger lightly. Make sure your head is not in such a position that your chin lifts. It should be, your spine and your neck should be aligned. So sometimes the head can drop back, then you need to put something under it. And then gradually allow your breast to settle. And I'm just going to give you something to bring into your consciousness in relation to the energy, how it enters your body. You think just of energy as always the same. the way it strikes the body at different parts of your body, like bones and joints and tendons and ligaments, is actually different. So think of the energy, how it gets into the bone marrow. It's what they call ether predominant, so I would call it space predominant. The marrow in that dense bone, the energy that flows into it is basically ether or space dominant. So just feel that. It brings the lightness to your bones. Moves, and physically it moves through the bone marrow. And now think of your joints, like those heavy joints, like the ankles, the knees, the shoulder joints. And the way energy strikes the joints, they call it air predominant. So it's mainly air that flows through there. The way energy connects with the joints. Energy is alive, and it's got different facets. And of course the muscles you can probably guess, because they heat when we work them. So that's fire predominant, it's heat that moves through the muscles as we engage them. Even when we don't engage them, it's where we feel the warmth. And then the tendons, and I imagine the ligaments, they're more water or moisture predominant. That's how the energy strikes your tendons. It's more through the moisture, the tendons. And then you can guess what the bones, the actual bone, not the bone marrow, the bones are predominantly through the earth. That more solid sense of earth, that the way the energy moves there. So it's a kind of more dense frequency of energy. And there's much more to that, because there's the interaction of the various parts of your body. But just feel that energy has subtle nuances in your body. We look at it as quite abstract, but it's nuanced. So it's those elements, including the space element, that inform your body and strike it in different ways. It's like the 5 vayus that I started the class with, the different air flows in your body, according to the Indian traditions. Air, of course, being connected with the energy as well. And make sure your features are relaxed. Empty your mind of everything else as you just stay with the presence of your true nature. Connect with your soul forces, your awareness, which is non-local. Pure consciousness can be everywhere at once. It's what you want to rest into, a sense of life, consciousness, awareness. So settle your features and draw your inner gaze into your open heart space, allowing what is, resting into the deeper presence of your true nature. slowly, gradually, begin to feel the sensations in your body. You should open your eyes. Grounding yourself back into your room. Perhaps rolling onto your side. And once you've reconnected with your surrounding, come back into a sitting position. So I hope you enjoyed again some different Tibetan movements. I hope you have a good practice this week. And stay well. Namaste.